So both of your comments, I think, connect to a similar thing, which is like kind of an inherent aesthetic challenge with animation, which is the question of spectacle. Uh, because, like, if you think about Marvel movies, you think about like superhero movies, or like, let's say, the finale of Wonder Woman or the finale of Iron Man. So often the like third act thing in these superhero movies is you're going to watch two CG characters beat each other up for 15 minutes, and in the end the good guy's going to win. And it's actually just like the most intensely boring way to end these movies. And in part, the reason it's so boring is that you don't actually believe any of it's happening. And this was the problem moving from The Matrix 1, a masterpiece, to The Matrix Reloaded or The Matrix Revolutions, because suddenly you were watching cartoon characters punching each other, and you don't care. Right. And it's the same thing with animating dance. Dance is at some level like a physical feat, and we admire the physicality and athleticism that's required to achieve it, but none of that is operative when you're animating dance. So I think it's really hard to, like, if a character is dancing, it better be expressive of some like emotional reality, because as like an abstract movement of the body, it's not interesting because it's not really happening. And you can contrast that with, I think there are really like two types of spectacle, right? There's like the special effects spectacle, and animation is one big special effect. And then there's the like, I can't believe they really did that spectacle. And that's like Buster Keaton comedies, which are still just as vital as they ever were, because this guy, like, he's filming himself almost dying multiple times per movie, and you know there's no wires and there's no CGs, and that's what also makes. I see a direct line connecting Buster Keaton to the Mission Impossible franchise, and Tom Cruise doing all his own stunts in those movies. I'm a huge fan of those Mission Impossible movies because he's really doing it. You're seeing this guy sprint on the top of a roof. Sure, there's safety wires that are being removed, but he's really doing it. He's also really climbing up a rope. Again, he's not going to fall to his death.
Big
but
building
like,
in Dubai,
if you've ever gone. Yeah, right. And he's like really on the building. Again, not gonna die, but still, would you do it? I wouldn't. Like, it would scare the crap out of me. So like, I think we make a mistake in the animation industry if we ever think that like that we're gonna achieve the same emotional reaction in the audience by depicting the same content. So then what we have to challenge ourselves is like, and this gets a bit to a cliche, but the cliche is, why are you bothering to animate this? Because this is like the most painful process of filmmaking that anyone could conceive of, where you have to handcraft every frame one at a time, although now computers can help you, but still, then you have to you have to light it, you have to composite it. Whereas we used to say live action gets 1 second per second. While animation is, you might get 5 seconds per week out of an animator, so why are you animating it? And when it comes to something like dance, and when it comes to something like action and fighting, it's really hard to justify it just purely on that level. There's got to be something else going on. And so that's why, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's a martial arts show with cool, element type stuff, right? Like fire and wind and all that stuff. But without that would not be an interesting spectacle to watch, right? So I think this is why I think it gets more interesting when the alligators come in, because it's no longer just a camera pointed at dancing animals. At that point, it becomes this like sort of ridiculous. I actually think in some ways it's a precursor to some of the great Looney Tunes episodes from that point on. It reminds me of The Rabbit of Seville, like where the big gun here, and then the bigger gun here, and then the cannon, and then the tank, and there are parts of this that feel like that have that kind of like insane comedic thing. It totally is like disrespectful or something. Like, it's totally a deconstruction of the original intent of the thing. But then again, like, there is definitely something comedic about the way the thing is written. So to me, like, if you like The Rabbit of Seville, and if you like the Kill the Wabbit,
which I do,
what's Opera Doc, all of those are great, and they are sort of like thumbing their nose at classical music in a fun way. And so while like 3/4 of this thing, I totally agree, is just like deadeningly boring because it's just animated dancing, the last part with the alligators essentially like committing sexual assault and grabbing all of these women and carrying them off to who knows where to do who knows what. That's the part when it gets cool and fun and interesting.
There. But you had this experience of like, oh, thank God.
Well, because Tim has deepened my appreciation of my reaction considerably, because I thought that it was just because I hated the animals and wanted them to be eaten by the alligators. But it's also simply because, yes, now there's some drama going on. So that's a good point.
Yeah.